Hello, Sim here. This iteration of COD has invoked some very strong Marmite reactions. You either love it or hate it, or you yo-yo between the two. You have good days and bad days, caused by some very deliberate design choices, and that's what I am going to talk about in this video. So, if you enjoy informative gaming videos and like to know how to buff your gaming network, make sure you are subscribed and have hit the bell icon so that you are notified when new videos arrive. In this video, I'm going to focus on aspects of design, software quality, and game experience. Other topics will be covered in the next two videos of this mini-series that I've called the COD Experience, or COD XP for short. I have added video chapters to allow you to easily navigate the video if you wish. As per the video title, Modern Warfare 19, or MW19, really had a strong emotional feeling within the community of either you loved it or you really hated it. For me, I play COD for its fast-paced, run and gun, arcade-style shooter action. This is what I consider the pure definition of COD. However, MW19 had other ideas. Sitting in corners, using funky angles with weird lines of sight to kill enemies is just no fun. And I suspected that this game would turn out this way, as I alluded to in my thoughts and concerns video having played the alpha and beta. I simply bought the game for YouTube as you guys wanted my honest feedback on it. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, you will have seen my raw thoughts on the game, as I am a passionate Call of Duty gamer, and I'll let those key tweets scroll across the screen from here and there as I talk, and you may wish to pause the video to read them, and if you're not following me on Twitter, you might want to. It was clear from the outset of playing the core multiplayer game modes that the design by Infinity Ward had moved away from run and gun. Map design was very deliberate and very intentional. All the launch maps were rather large. They weren't Battlefield-like, but certainly not COD-like. Camping became remastered as it was taken to a whole new level, making people scared to move and they just sit in corners, etc. The pace of the match, as a consequence, was very slow. It was not unusual for the game to end via the match time having expired before the winning number of points were even reached. Something that had never occurred in any of the previous Call of Duty titles to the level this game was exceeding at, or should I say even winning at. Due to the design choices made by Infinity Ward, a new famous phrase was born, that being you need to adapt! Yes, there was a flurry of tweets with videos showing people camping, mowing people down as they came around corners, etc. because they were aiming down a line of sight with the flashing words of, "I've adapted!" So for me, I've tried quite a few game modes, and I settled on in the early days of Hardpoint, as gamers in general were playing the objective and not camping. So it tended to be more fun, but I should note that I did take a serious break or two from this game. So I'm going to move on to what I consider the standard core COD features. The first one being the minimap. It's been there since the dawn of time of COD, but it was removed. There was a definite outcry and eventually it was brought back. And of course there was the whole red dot experience of when people fired the gun, which was messed around with too. Sweet. The next key feature is what I'm going to refer to as audio cues. Now, as gamers we have headsets, and some of us have some very expensive headsets to sound whore. Of course it helps us with situational awareness. So you forked out a load of dosh. Yeah, that's British slang for cash. So you spent your hard-earned cash, your $100 to $200, pounds, euros, insert your denomination here, on your headset. And you cannot hear enemies. But you can hear your teammates. You just got to be kidding. What do you mean we cannot hear enemies? So they've seemed to have taken a leaf out of Advanced Warfare on that one. But worse still is the positional, spatial sound is just completely broken. So later on in the game's life, they've adjusted enemy footsteps so you can hear them and stuff, but when you can, you're going, are they on my left? Are they on my right? Above me? Below me? Where the heck are they? And the whole sound intensity would just be broken, so you had no idea of how close they were. The whole Doppler effect, as it's known, was broken, or not even implemented. Now, the Doppler effect in simple terms is if you had a police car coming towards you with a siren blasting, the pitch increases as it comes towards you and then decreases as it goes away from you. So you have an idea of how close that police car is, whether it's travelling towards you or away from you. It's a key audio cue, but it's just not there in MW19. So keeping on with audio cues and being able to sound whore, yes, very important sound whoring, in our arcade shooter, because it's a video game, it's not real life. The kill streaks within this game, MW19, are just so overpowering sound wise, it's just unbelievable. Take the VTOL for example, whilst it's up in the air you can't hear anything. Now in reality, yeah sure it's realistic, but it's not a true COD experience. COD is meant to be an arcade shooter. It always has been. So, the third key feature is seeing your KD whilst playing a game. In other words, being able to see both your kills and deaths whilst gaming in a match by temporarily bringing up the scoreboard. It's always been there since the birth of COD. But no, that feature was not there. It was not even added. Again, a very deliberate design decision. And what came across to me, and I suspect the community as well, was a deliberate, commercially driven decision. Well, they started selling DLC watches for like $20 that would show your KD in the match. There was quite a strong community outcry and reaction on that one, and I guess most of you watching this video will probably recall that. But hey, they still didn't add it to the scoreboard, they still wanted you to buy those watches. So, just before I move on, I should mention that I'm predominantly talking from a point of view from playing the core COD multiplayer modes. I don't play Battle Royale and I generally don't play the massive ground war. I play the core COD gaming modes, Team Deathmatch, Kill Confirmed, Domination, Hardpoint, all of that good jazz, the stuff that is COD's bread and butter. So the core community was crying out for smaller maps. In the hopes, for some kind of fast-paced action. We did get some small maps, but again, the maps had tweaks made for camping, and it highlighted terrible spawns. Notably, it remastered and bludgeoned the map that's known as Crash, because it's had new areas added just for camping, which completely altered the style and the flow of the classic COD 4 map. And another COD 4 classic was Shipment, but this truly amplified how bad the spawns were, and still are. Again, another design choice. Deliberately spawning gamers in the lines of sight of an enemy player. I mean, what are they thinking? Well, it might be fun for those who are killing those who just spawned in directly in front of them, and complete misery if you're the unlucky gamer to spawn in front of that enemy. Rust is another such example of a really bad map. You might as well consider it a dome map. Well, it is a circle in effect, with campers at the top just shooting down on your spawn positions. Not an enjoyable map. I don't like it. As soon as that map comes up, I will just, yep, out. Shoot House for me though was a more enjoyable close quarters combat map. It might still have the dodgy spawns as the entire game does, let's face it, but I generally had a more consistent experience on the Shoot House map. The days of spawning players away from the enemy is certainly over in the case of MW19. Moving on to my next topic, one of my biggest bugbears though is when it comes to software being released that just has performance and stability issues. It shouts out straight away that the appropriate level testing has not been done and it's just been pushed out the door to meet the November release date, regardless of whether it's good to go or not. So when you have a gaming studio that says sorry, but we're going to have to push our release date right, I salute them for taking the pride in their game and ensuring that the quality is there so that the game can get the best reception at launch when it's released. However, as we all know, or should I say suspect, the game studios are not calling the shots. Activision is, and so it gets released regardless of whether it's good to go or not. Some of you experienced frame rate issues, but for me, I predominantly experienced crashes on the Xbox One X. It was not crashing to dashboard, oh no! The console would do a complete shutdown to stop the CPU, or should I say the SoC, the system on chip, from overheating and dying into a molten blob of metal, due to poor quality software spinning in a tight loop that would induce high temperatures and, yes, well, melt the chip. And this I deduced from what we would call in software black box testing. Several months later, the game was still doing it. Yes, all the way into April 2020. Unbelievable. I had to find workarounds for how to relaunch the game without immediately trying to kill my Xbox, the poor old SoC. You know, causing the console to do the emergency shutdown. Boy oh boy, luckily in the recent months I haven't experienced it, but I just, maybe they finally fixed it, but I couldn't believe it was still going on in April. I really couldn't, it was so disappointing. Now one of my final sections I've sort of dubbed as the Rage Monster. Oh yes. To put it politely, by using an old expression, MW19 is enough to make a saint swear. Oh yes. So if you consider Sim the saint, then that would mean he would curse a lot at times. And that would be an understatement. And my gaming teammates can attest to that one, and this would emphasize just how bad the game is. And would definitely not be suitable for streaming, not just because of a language perspective, and cursing and all that stuff, but just because the slow paced nature of the game is just too boring to watch. Although with luck, I've got some interesting gameplay in the background. Now, just to re-emphasize the enjoyability of MW19, if you were to look at my channel, you will see that I've only published 2 videos on MW19. That's right, just 2 videos. If you ignore the 4 live streams that are archived, noting that the title of the last live stream summed up the game pretty nicely. In contrast, Black Ops 4 had 24 live streams, 11 videos, or should we say commentaries, and 9 high KD gameplay videos. Even though I was not really going full stream ahead on my YouTube channel due to a variety of reasons, there's still a significant difference on volume of videos and enjoyability, dare I say it, of the game for BO4 compared to MW19. Now I had some significant months and time off from MW19. I needed to chill. The whole point of gaming for me is to relax and unwind after a hard day at work, not to get one stressed out by playing a video game that's meant to be fun. I need to unwind. I thought BO4 was bad enough with its specialist BS, but MW19 just outperformed that by miles and takes the prize for the worst Call of Duty ever. So, finally, what did you guys think about MW19? Do you agree with what I've said in this video, or do you disagree with it? Or just bits of it? And do you think I missed anything when it comes to design and fundamental gameplay? And if you thought I forgot about skill-based matchmaking, nope, I've saved that one for the next video. Until next time, this has been Sim.